everyone. Welcome to another episode of Modern Mom, where we talk about being a mom in the 21st century. My name is Remy Kay. I'm a certified life and relationship coach and a comedian. Today, I have with me Cyndi Kramer.
Hi.
Hello, Cyndi. Actually, Cyndi had to come back, funny thing, because I had put the auto tune on the audio. And so we recorded this amazing episode, and actually the auto tune was on. So sorry about that.
Which might have been better than what
Maybe.
we're about to do today, but we'll give it a shot.
We'll see. We talked about a bunch of different things last time. We talked about comedy because you guys have a comedy. What is it called? Like a comedy club.
Comedy club,
It's
improv.
improv comedy club. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, it's improvisational comedy, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Did you ever watch that?
I did. Yeah.
Improv, we ask for suggestions from the audience. They riff off of whatever they get from the audience. The comedians are super funny, and some of the comedians are actually stand-ups as well, but most just do improv.
Yeah, I love riffing actually. So I actually did improv long before I ever did stand up, believe it or not. I went to a place called Bats Improv in San Francisco. Have you heard
I
of
know
it?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I actually took my first classes and I went to see my first improv and I was super impressed actually because a Shakespearean play, again, all suggestions by the audience. So it was a Shakespearean play and the way that they ended up basically taking all of the suggestions and closing the loop on the story was amazing to me. I mean, I literally remember my head was just knocking, like I was looking at the ceiling half the time laughing so hard.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it ends up being funny, but that's not the purpose of it.
No, we're not setting out. I'm shifting.
Yeah,
so
shift.
you can see my face.
Yeah, I love it.
We're not setting out necessarily to be hilarious, but it's just the nature of what we're doing,
Yeah.
which makes it funny.
It makes it funny.
Yeah.
It's like delightful. It's not like haha funny. It's like a very delightful thing when people receive the suggestions in a very meaningful way, I feel. I mean, I think that's my favorite part about improv.
Yeah, and honestly, good improvisers often are just intrinsically funny people. Like
Yeah.
conversationally, they would be funny.
Yeah. My kids are on the walkie-talkie. So tell me about the club. Tell me what is it like? Because being a comedian, I think I just see such a different side of comedy. And I haven't done comedy very long. I've been doing it since March of 2023. So tell me about the club and how long you've had it and what it's been like.
Well, it's been around for 37 years. My
Mhm.
husband owned it before I even met him.
Mhm.
And I actually fell in love with him because I saw him on stage and I got like a talent crush on him.
I love that.
And
Groupie.
I didn't know he was going to be, first of all, I didn't know he was the owner. I just thought he was a comic.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that he was going to eventually be
Ooh, so you like
my
lucked out. You
coach.
struck gold.
Yeah. I'm kind of a celebrity. You
I
know
love
what?
that.
But yeah, he's owned it for 37 years. We've been together for 23 years. So
Right.
I've basically had it for 23 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I did. Well, I married into it. I didn't do anything.
I know, but congratulations on being married for 23 years to a
Yeah,
comedian.
we're doing all right.
So my daughters just came in with someone because this is Modern Mom and I'm a modern mom.
She's a mom on a go.
Yeah, and so my daughters just came in. They just made a new friend in the complex because I was like, okay, I'm going to record an episode, play in the complex. And they just brought home a friend and their mom and stuff. And that's my life, honestly. So
you should leave it in. Mom and kids are getting ready to go on their scooters.
Yeah.
It's a whole
chaos. I mean, this is my life.
It's organized.
It's organized
disorganized
chaos.
There's walkie-talkies involved.
There's
Safety
walkie-talkies.
first.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, they have walkie-talkie watches.
I think most people don't find improv as fascinating as I do. It's like a little cult. Like people that do improv are kind of nerdy.
So my company is called Team Building Improv, and I have different segments of it. So I do like coaching, I do career coaching, I do productivity coaching is my niche. Like that's just the thing I love to do. And it can do with anything. It can do financial coaching. It can be, just straight productivity coaching. It can be career coaching. There's just so much involved in that. But I was inspired by improv because I feel like knowing how to do improv. Okay, let me back up. When I worked at Apple, when I took my improv classes, and I remember sitting in those meetings and feeling so insignificant that I didn't even have the guts to speak up during meetings. I could have one-on-ones all day, and I felt inspired by having one-on-ones, and I was very good with it. But when I was in a meeting with a bunch of people, I had a very hard time speaking up in meetings. After I did improv everything changed. Not only was
Yeah, it makes you fearless, or
yes,
it
makes you
helps
feel
you. I mean, things are super scary when you're an improviser, when
yeah,
you got nothing. You go on stage with a suggestion, hot dog, and you got to
right,
make a 3-minute scene out of hot dog.
right.
I think it does help in the work situation because my husband uses it as a team building workshops all the time
Yeah.
too. And what really, the thing about improv, it's a lot of yes and. So
Yes,
you
and
get a
that's my
here's
favorite
your
part.
suggestion, you build on it. And in the workplace, that's excellent because oftentimes people come to a total standstill at work. They can't
Right.
get anything done because everybody's got
No, but right.
objections and you can't move forward with nothing but objections.
It's true. It's true. And having that, I love that you mentioned that the yes and because that's my favorite part about improv is when you're building on top of ideas instead of breaking down to ideas and trying to build a new foundation all over again. That works so much less than just building on what's already there. And plus, people feel like they're being heard. So, yeah, after I took my improv class, it was a different story. I was actually leading the meetings. A lot of the time when my program manager wasn't available, I was the one that stepped in and started leading the meetings, and improv gave me the confidence to do that.
Well, also too, one of the things that I really love about improv is so if one person walks into the meeting and they've got an idea of a direction that they want to go, if you're on stage
Yeah.
on the show, if somebody comes in and is like, "I'm a Martian," but you came on stage and you wanted to be a dog and you're
Right.
like, "No, we're dogs."
Yeah.
It kills the scene. That's
Right.
it. It's dead.
Yeah.
If you
As a
came on the
Martian
stage
dog.
and you were going to be a dog, but you have to fall in line with a Martian
Right.
that's already there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a Martian, you're on Mars, or you're a Martian dog. You can
Right.
play with whatever you got, but you can't if you go, "Wait, where are we?" And you
Right.
ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that applies to work, to
Yeah.
the business. It definitely does. It
You
just
do have to
propels
pay
forward.
attention to what's happening in the environment and then add to that environment. Like, you have no choice but to do that in improvisation.
And the number one skill of a great improviser is listening,
Yeah.
not getting so stuck in what am I going to say next?
Oh, yeah.
What's my next thing to say? Listen, let the thought come, and then you add to the thought.
Right, right. And that's actually one of the things that I really loved about it also is that you do have to be I love riffing. That's actually one of my favorite parts of comedy and open mics is when I get to riff with the audience. And I feel as though sometimes when I'm recording my sets on stage and I riff on stage, I will write that joke down. Like, boom, I just wrote a joke off of that
You're
mic.
like, that was gold. I could
That
have
was gold.
sat in my bedroom all
Yes,
night, all day, and
and
not
not thought
come
of
up
that.
with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, correct, that's funny. So we kinda talked about, last time also, we talked about pretty privilege a little bit.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. And so I wanted to talk about that again because I think that that's, really important. There's a lot of material on the internet that has to do with pretty privilege, people
I'm putting
talking
this away.
yeah, it's all good. There's a lot of stuff on the internet about pretty privilege, use of pretty privilege. There's actually a psychologist who has the same last name as myself,
Con.
Sadia Khan, and she, talks about the downside of pretty privilege, believe it or not.
All right.
Okay,
Do
so I wanna
tell.
touch on that first. So what she says is, yes, there is this notion of pretty privilege, but there is the flip side of the coin, which is the men who don't have access to you
Mm,
tend to show some prejudice or some, kind of shutting down, like pre-shutting down because they already know they don't have access. And then women tend to, she says, also express some disdain, some prejudice because they get into this competition competitive mode.
okay.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
My I come from a place very often of having lower self-esteem. So going into a situation, if a man is rude to me,
Mhm.
I don't automatically go, "Oh, he's intimidated by me
Yeah.
because I'm so whatever." I
Mhm.
go, "Men hate me."
Yeah.
That's my takeaway.
Mhm.
And when women are rude to me,
Mhm.
I almost never
Mhm.
snap to it's because she's in competition with me.
Mhm.
I had to be told that by
Mhm.
my friends of
Mhm.
like, this is, I think, what's going on with this person and why she's so obnoxious to you all the time.
Uh-huh.
Because there's also the notion that what if that's not true? What if
Mhm.
I'm actually doing something that's super annoying?
Mhm.
Or I remind this person of their mom and their mom abused them or whatever. There's some other reason why they don't like me that has nothing to do with
Mhm.
my outward appearance, you
Oh,
know?
okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there is something to that though. I'll tell you, okay, very often, usually I'm attracted to attractive women and I
Mhm.
want to talk to them.
Mhm.
I don't I don't shy away from attractive women.
Yeah.
However, my always initial reaction, and it's not. I just learned the difference between envy and jealousy.
Okay.
Jealousy is, gosh, I wish I had that.
Mhm.
Envy is it's like the first time I saw you, I was like, oh, look at her hair. It's so thick, it's so long. I don't think she has to do anything to that hair. And
That's
but I didn't
envy?
think
No, that's jealousy.
that's jealousy. And it
Okay.
was like I would
Yeah, so I also probably have some jealousy and envy, but my jealousy and envy is very different. It's never about somebody's looks. I never feel like, "Oh my gosh, like they're prettier than me," like which most people are. I mean, I kind of
there's a
don't
lot of beautiful
there's a
people
lot
in
of
the
beautiful
world.
people
Yeah.
out there. And so I don't feel like, "Oh my gosh, they're so much prettier." But what I do get jealous of is, "Oh my gosh, that person has accomplished something I haven't accomplished yet. I need to hurry up and accomplish it so that I can feel better about myself." So like an example is it took me a long time to get my master's degree. And
Yeah, but you did it,
I
man.
did it,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, in
with
the
2
midst
kids,
of
yeah.
little kids and a
Yeah.
lot of other things
I
going on in
know.
your life.
I know, but my dad, like, he wanted me to do my master's degree, like, a couple years after my bachelor's, because that's
Mhm.
what we do in my family, right? My dad
Right.
got his he was, a PhD in electrical engineering. My sister got her MPA, I think 2 years after she graduated from her bachelor's, like, she literally just sat at home and, like, did her master's. And I just waited way too long. Like, I waited a long time. Maybe not too long, I shouldn't judge myself like that, but I waited a long time. And so anybody who had their masters, I felt like less than and, like, belittled myself over that.
I get that too.
And then I also was like, "Well, wait a minute." And this is okay, here we go, guys. Like, this is real raw stuff. I'm like, "What do you have that I don't really other than this MA or,
It's a piece of pick,
it's a piece of paper,
yeah.
right?" And so I kinda go there. I'm like, "Well,
Well,
are you"
ultimately, you have a master's, but you're still kinda doing what you wanna do. You
Right.
didn't even really need that
I didn't
master's
well,
degree.
kind
It
of no,
gives
I
you more
started my own business.
credibility.
I did start my own
Yes.
business, and so I feel justified in that, but you're right. Actually, I got laid off 2 weeks after getting my MBA.
So, okay, I'm not saying don't go for higher
Yeah,
education. It
yeah,
definitely gives you more validity when you're
right.
in the world and you're like, "Okay, here's who you're gonna be working with. Here's
Yes,
my background. Here's my education." It
right.
definitely gives you more power in
Yeah,
the system. But and you
and yes.
already were thriving
Yes,
before that,
yes,
and I think even if you hadn't gotten it, you still would continue to be thriving. I mean, you're going totally off the rails of what your plan should be. You're
yeah,
not supposed to
fair.
be a stand-up
Yeah,
comic.
it's true.
You're supposed to be in tech.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, even the coaching thing, I like it's so funny because I love it actually. So I'm starting this grant. It's called PQ. So it's positive quotient. So you know how there's IQ, which is intelligence quotient. There's EQ, which is your emotional intelligence
I've been
quotient.
told I rate very high on EQ.
Oh, I agree. I
Yes,
agree.
I've
I
been
think
told
you
that.
do. I think you're very good. Your whole thing is mindfulness. You're very mindful and you're very aware of your situation. It's rare to see, to be honest. And I think that's what makes you such a kind of fierce, loyal friend is that you are so willing to look introspectively that a lot of people play the blame game, right? And
Mhm.
myself included. And to really like now, I have the most, just seamless kind of, interaction with my ex. It's so different today than it was back then. Like back then, it's like neither of us could talk to each other without getting upset. Since we focus on the objective, hey, we want to figure out the schedule, but a different schedule for the summer. And we have had to get on the phone with each other once a week because every week we're like, I forgot the schedule. I forgot the schedule. Please remind me. Let's sit down with the calendar. And we have to sit down with the calendar every single week and just remind each other and ourselves what we agreed to with each other. And
And
then,
now I bet it's not contentious, like,
yeah,
if you actually need a day
yeah.
without them
Oh,
to
yeah.
do something, you call the ex,
Oh,
and if
yeah.
he's available, he does it.
Oh,
I
totally.
remember in the
Yeah.
beginning of my divorce, my ex would just the answer was no to everything,
Yeah.
just to
Just
spite
because,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, just because.
I wanna work with women who are walking through that too, because I think that, everyone came from a really good place, but the advice that I was getting was not helping with, "You're gonna have to rewrite all of your core beliefs and all of your ideas around relationship, marriage, kids, and you're gonna have to throw it out the window because none of that applies anymore, and you're gonna have to just build from scratch and realize that this is your story and it's no one else's."
And I wonder if you would have even been available to hear that when you were circling the drain. I
Maybe,
think
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah, that's fair.
for me, when I was going through my divorce with my ex, if you would have told me that 27 years later, my kids would, without me having to badmouth him, would be coming to me and going, "Oh, dad's terrible." And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, we can't unring this bell. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And then like my son asked me last summer, did dad cheat on you? And I was like,
Oh,
do you really want to know the answer to that question,
yeah.
kiddo? Because
Once you learn it, you can't unlearn.
yeah,
So my
and
daughter came
he did.
home.
So
I'm sorry. I'm
that's
so
fine.
sorry. Oh my gosh, that's harsh. That's harsh. Cheating is hard.
It's fine now.
Cheating and beating. Those are the two things
Yeah,
where
I
it's
know.
like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. There
I
is
had
no,
emotional abuse, and I had like he was a sex and love addict, so it
yeah.
was literally every women we work with, my
No.
friends, prostitutes, massage therapists,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
men.
I knew someone who had to deal with the massage therapy thing, and she had broken up with him, and then she got back together with him because she just didn't want to be alone. And I was like, because he was apparently saying things about being in recovery and stuff. And I was kind of like, dude, like, I don't know. For me, I just have a no cheating, beating policy. Like, if
Oh
either of
yeah,
those things happen, I'm out and I'm out for good. Because I
yeah,
just think that the way the brain works is even if you went to recovery, even if you did the therapy, even if you did all those things, your brain is hardwired to revert back to your behavior according to the environmental triggers.
right,
Environmental trigger, like,
right.
you know
Hi,
what I
I'm the
mean?
person you cheated on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I do believe, my my ex is now married to somebody way younger. He just had another kid at
Mhm,
56 years old,
mhm.
which was
Because they can,
devastating to
men can.
my other kids. I
Yeah,
got a 31 and a 26-year-old,
yeah.
and he actually said to my oldest son,
Mhm.
"I'm so happy to be able to be a father at this age because I get a chance to do it over again."
Oh, no.
And my kid was like, "Hi, I'm still on planet Earth."
Oh my
Like,
gosh, you get to
I
be a
mean
father to me, I'm so sorry.
I
Oh.
mean, it's okay. It is what it is. He's working through it. He's My
Yeah.
kid is growing, and he's a really responsible human being with his
Oh,
emotions, so,
that's awesome. I love that.
yeah.
Well, he probably got some, like, he got to watch you grow into that as well. So I'm sure that
Yeah.
helps. Mothers are so important. And I'm not just saying that because I am a mom. I also have a mom. And, her voice, she could be outside right now talking, and her voice will just go right into my ear. Like I can hear her like through time and space somehow. And so
Mhm.
it's like, and if something's up with me, like my mom's like, something's wrong with Rainy. Like, we need to go visit her. Like, yeah, no joke. Like, something was going down. And she was like, we need to go visit Rainy right now. And I was living in San Francisco at the time. And lo and behold, like, that was like a big, like, day. Like, something big was happening. I just feel like mothers just have this like connection with their children potentially that, it's so beautiful. It can be so beautiful. So my daughter, she's 8. So I've got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. I say this every episode, but I say it again. And my 8-year-old went to a birthday party in the complex. I love this complex, you guys. Like if you can live in a
It's
big
really
complex,
cute.
it is
It's
so
really
cute. And
cute.
also there are just so many kids and so many parents. This mother came in and she just let herself in. And that's how we live here. Like it's
It's like
almost,
Melrose Place. I'm
yeah.
dating myself, but do you even know what that is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do.
In the 90s,
In the
there was a
90s.
show called Melrose
Yes.
Place. There was a bunch of people living in an apartment complex, and
Complex.
everybody was besties,
Yeah,
so
they
it
were
was very cool.
besties. People just come by and stuff. It's almost like an open door policy practically. And so they went to a birthday party in the complex. So my daughter comes home after 15 minutes. Like I walked them over to the birthday party and then I came back and I figured they'd be there for an hour or however long the party was. And my daughter comes back after 15 minutes. And I'm like, "Honey, what's wrong? What happened?" And she goes, "So and so was doing secrets and I don't do secrets." I know,
Ooh.
mic drop, right?
Right.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, just chill out here for a little while," and she was like just kind of taking care of herself. And she came into my room and she's spilling all the tea to me and she's telling me what happened and stuff. And I was like, "Okay, take care of yourself. You do you, honey." Give her a high five for taking care of herself. And then I get a text message from the mom maybe a few minutes later, and she's like, "Hey, send Dahlia back over. We're cutting cake." And I was just like, wow, at 8 years old, there was no way I had the emotional intelligence to say, I don't like this. I don't have to be here. I'm gonna go home to my mom where I know it's a safe place. It's right down, the corridor. And I'm gonna go, be with my mom, who is my safe person.
Right, who's not keeping secrets and
Right.
doing
Yeah.
the stuff that girls can do to each other, which
Yeah.
girls can be so
It's,
mean to each
people.
other.
People
People,
can be
that's true.
so mean to each other. Like it hurts my heart sometimes. And what I've learned is, oh my gosh, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. I do this every episode. So there was this woman, I forgot her name, but she was on a episode of Jay Shetty's podcast.
Yeah, we love Jay Shetty. He's
Well,
gorgeous, right?
okay,
Those eyes.
he is beautiful.
Get out of here.
He is beautiful, but I heard some stuff. Anyway, I won't go into that yet, but maybe we'll go into it in a minute. He is beautiful and his wife is beautiful,
They're
and
both
they just
eyes.
they got really hooked up in that realm, like in the visual realm, which is maybe unfair. Shetty's maybe leave some for the rest of us. Anyway, so this woman was on his show, and she says, "Imagine you're a celestial being out in space or wherever, and God, the universe, whoever the leader of the universe is like, would you like to spend a speck of time on Earth? You get to feel every emotion, the range of emotions, and you get to experience this really quick but really intense experience on Earth." Like, what would you say? You're like a bored celestial light in the middle of space.
Just floating around.
You're just floating around. You haven't, felt anything, experienced anything.
I'd be
Things
like,
are mundane,
absolutely,
right?
100%. Yes.
And so here we are, experiencing this reality, which is kind of just a combination of a firing of neurons, the way our brain's interpreting it,
I
right?
feel like the whole thing's a simulation sometimes.
Okay,
Especially when I think things are amazing. I'm
no,
like, wait, what? How? What?
100%. Okay, not when things are amazing, but I'll tell you, when I realized that it's a simulation is when I do the one thing that bothers me is when people, like, get in my way, when there's, like, 5 paths and they, like, get in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, and it happens 100% of the time.
I get that too, dude. Do you think that's our ADHD? It's like
I think it's
testing the
simulation.
limits?
I think it's a simulation.
Okay, what are we meant to learn from
Right,
this
we are meant to learn
exercise?
something. So now when it happens, I'm like, of course it happened. It's meant to happen. That's the programming of my simulation right now.
How do you feel about people texting and walking and not looking up? This is what I do,
Yeah.
and it's not the most spiritual thing to do.
Okay, tell me.
I just keep walking at them.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna see me, and then they're all
Yeah.
of a sudden gonna be like this
Yeah.
and be shocked, and
Does it happen? Does it work?
it happens a
Okay.
lot, and I don't think it changes their
So
behavior. They go right
so
back to it, but
honestly, this must not be a program in my simulation yet because it's not happened.
okay. It's in mine, and I think it's because I'm a really,
Do you text when you
knee-jerk
walk?
No,
Interesting.
I don't text when I walk.
Because that's not part of my simulation yet.
I feel like
haven't
there's other people on planet Earth, and I should probably watch out. So, like, if I have to be on it, like, if something's happening, I'll be like, "I'm so sorry. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be looking at my phone from time to time. If that's
Yeah.
gonna bother you, let me know,
Oh,
and
nice.
I'll step away from you
I like
because
the
I've got a
boundaries.
kid in trouble or
Yeah.
whatever's going on." So,
Oh, when you have kids, like, I just for me, like, even they need this walkie-talkie on right now. I have walkie-talkie watches for them, and I'm in a podcast recording, and they haven't dinged me yet, but they're like, "Mom, you need to keep your walkie-talkie on." Honestly, okay, so it's funny because when I was young, I was really fair-skinned.
okay.
Okay. And then I think I turned 16 and I worked at Great America, which is an amusement park here. I actually just came from there just now. And I got so dark. And I went back to Bangladesh in my 20s and they were like, "Oh my God, what did you do? Like, why
Like,
are
it's a
you?"
bad thing?
Oh, yeah, very bad thing. I mean, terrible. Like,
I know I've got friends from that area that tell
Yeah.
me, like, fair is
fair and lovely, dark and ugly.
Ew.
Yeah, that is a advertisement for a bleaching cream that people use, yes, on their face to lighten their face. Correct.
And then here in America, I'm getting spray tan so
Yeah.
I can look more like you.
I know. No, it's hilarious. Like my trainer wanted me to do a bodybuilding contest. And I'm like, "You're not going to make me spray tan, are you? Because that's just not happening. Like, how dark do you want me to go?" But no, they're my color. Like the people in the bodybuilding contest.
I
are
know,
my
but
color.
they look like me. So
Why is that different? Like, it's so funny how, like, beauty is, like, totally in the eye of the beholder. Because, like, I definitely feel like I was raised with some internalized racism of, like, whiter is better.
and you see that even in like Asian cultures where they're trying to make their eyes more Anglo, like
Mhm.
especially in Korea, they're constantly slitting their eyes open and
Mhm.
opening them up, and then they get rewarded for that. Like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're really pretty now." Like,
Mhm.
kind of messed up.
Oh, it's so messed up.
Wow.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not gonna bleach my skin. It's funny. I did. Okay,
No, I think this.
we talked about this last time. The AI pictures. Remember, I showed you the
Yeah,
AI
you're like, this is
versions
what it
of-
looked like. I'm blonde
Yeah,
and white,
like white with blonde hair. And granted, beautiful. It's beautiful. But someone made a comment to me like, "Oh, time to bleach your skin." Yeah, and I was like, "No,
Oh, woof! Don't
no,
do it.
that's not happening."
No,
Yeah,
you don't. Please don't. That would be
no,
so upsetting for me.
no, it would be upsetting for me, honestly, because okay, I love representation. So have you seen Bridgerton?
I've seen it kind of. I hadn't watched it all the way through.
Okay, so season 2, Simone Ashley, she's a South Indian woman, and she is the main character's bride.
Okay.
And she is so tanned, like me. I mean, she's probably my color or darker. And actually, right now I'm really dark because I just went to
She
the
just
water
got to the
park.
water park.
I have the
Yeah.
water park tan, but so she's probably my color. And she's gorgeous,
Well, of course.
beautiful. I mean, like she has this smile that like makes me swoon, and I am straight, like
Yeah, I get it.
hetero. And so
I want to see
I
her.
wish, go look her up.
All right.
Like,
Pause for
yeah, no, don't
Google.
even pause.
All
Just
right, I'm
keep
going to Google
recording
it real
as we're
time.
googling it.
What's her name?
Simone Ashley.
Simone. And she's British, so she's got that English accent too, which
I
is
think
super
so.
cute.
Yeah, yeah,
Simone Ashley, British actress.
yeah. Look at her. Yeah,
Look at her. Look
yeah.
at her eyes.
Yes.
My goodness, she's
And her smile,
beautiful.
honestly, she's very beautiful, stoic. But when she look at her
You know what?
smile,
I've seen her in stuff.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen her in
look
stuff.
at her smile. She is so. If I had this type of representation growing up, I just feel like it would have been a game changer for me.
Yeah, she's a goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
No, I get that. I mean, I even experienced that. I have to truth tell her this is awful. Okay, so I'm 55 years old. This is no excuse. Um, I was born during the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
and there was like accepted racism towards the Vietnamese people when I was a kid. It was
That's so harsh.
universal
Mhm.
across white people, and nobody was like, "You're a racist," other
Mhm.
than I'm sure Vietnamese people.
Mhm.
But it was accepted. So I was a cheerleader in high school. My senior year, I was what was called the head cheerleader, and we had these things on our sweaters. They're called blocks, and it would be like a lady with pom poms, but then our name would be stitched into it, and we had
Mhm.
to fill out this paperwork to get the name correct in these little square boxes. And
Mhm.
we had a girl on the team. She was Vietnamese. Her
Mhm.
name was Lynn Nguyen,
Mhm.
but Lynn wasn't spelled Anglo Lynn. It wasn't
Mhm.
like Lynn.
It was like LINH or something.
Right.
Mhm.
So me
Mhm.
being at the time very white supremacist,
Right.
unbeknownst to me,
Yeah.
I filled it out thinking I was doing her a favor.
Oh, yeah.
Lynne.
Mhm.
And she came to me and she
Mhm.
said, "Why is it spelled like this?
Yeah.
That's not my name."
Mhm.
And I was mad at her.
Right.
I was like, "I'm trying to help you."
Yeah. Wow.
But I didn't say that. I was like, "Well, I just thought you might want it spelled a way that people can read and understand." And she
Mm.
goes, "No, that's not my name.
Mhm.
I want my name spelled correctly."
Mhm.
I literally had to find a private investigator to
Really?
find Lin Wen
Wow, that's commitment.
to apologize to Lin Wen, because it wasn't until I was like in my early 20s that I recognized how racist that was.
Mhm.
And I literally was like, "No, American is better. You don't want to be
Oh.
Vietnamese because we're looking down on you right now."
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah. Mm.
like, what is wrong with you?
Well, that's that internalized racism, and it's not like it's funny. I just did a reel on this on Instagram today. It's not just non-ethnic people that participate in internalized racism. Like people of color have internalized racism
Oh, I
also
know that. I've got a El
in a big way.
Salvadorian
Yeah.
stepmom who hates Mexicans. Like,
Right.
it's a wild
Yeah.
ride. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, it's and she probably is not her own biggest fan either, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah. Like,
anyone, in my opinion, anyone who has that capability to be like, "Ooh, ew, you," they're inside all the time going, "Oh, ew, and me."
well, I feel that with Judaism.
Mhm.
I often feel very othered. Right now, Jews aren't huge fans of the world.
Mhm.
People aren't loving Jews right now.
Yeah.
Just fun fact,
Yeah.
most American Jews are not for what's happening in
Yeah.
Gaza.
Mhm.
Just fun fact,
Mhm.
but people paint with a broad brushstroke and they
Yeah.
think that like, "Oh, you're Jewish, so you're for this," and that's not true.
Well, I grew up my parents were Muslim, and I grew up going to mosques and things like that, although I don't necessarily completely identify for several reasons, but I also had a lot of experience with that, especially around the time 9/11 happened.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It was pretty serious. But yeah, I mean, and I really empathize with, what it must be like to, hear or see or, kind of interpreted these messages of like, you are not liked as a group, which I think is just so terrible. Like, I think it's not fair to be ever seen and said, and there was like this whole propaganda about no Asian hate at one point because of COVID, for example.
Oh yeah, that
The,
was gnarly.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Muslims went through it, Islamophobia. There was this whole post 9/11 Islamophobia. Jewish folks are going through it with the whole, Gaza and all these things, right? There was this one Instagram reel, and they were saying, history is written by those who won, most of it. The history that
Right,
we read, the
right.
Greeks, the Romans, all of that, history was written by those who won. And the teacher did an experiment where there were 30 kids in the classroom, and he actually orchestrated an argument with another teacher. So another teacher came in and they argued and then parted ways, right? And so he had the students actually write down their accounts of what happened.
Okay.
All 30 accounts were different. Let's talk about fitness.
Oh yeah, fitness.
Yeah.
That was a good segue.
Yeah, that was a good
super
segue.
smooth, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So talk about, because you teach classes, you teach
I
a
do.
row class, you teach some other
Pilates.
classes, Pilates. You also
TRX.
teach. That's the one with the. Okay, talk about TRX.
All right, TRX. Oh God, I love TRX. So TRX was created by a Navy SEAL,
Mhm,
and it's a way to keep in shape with very little equipment. It's just a strap. You use body weight, but you use it like inversely.
mhm.
So it's not like when you're doing a push up on the floor, um, you have your body weight and you have gravity. With TRX, you've got instability because you've got two handles and they're working independent of each other.
Mhm.
And you've also got a way to get all the way under a piece of equipment to do a move that you would otherwise have to do at an angle. Like
Okay.
for example, like a row.
Mhm.
Usually you do a row standing, you've got cables, you've got either narrow grip, you've got two
The
grips,
microphone's not catching
microphone.
you.
Um,
So, okay, so with a row, you have your handle, you've got the grips, you've got your weights, and you're pulling for a row. You're either, depending on what you want to work on your
right.
back or shoulders, you're kind of pulling.
You're usually in a
But with
seated
TRX,
position, but with
yeah.
TRX, you go so the apparatus looks like a swing set and you
Mhm.
attach the TRX. So visualize you're walking all the way underneath the apparatus. So all your body weight plus gravity, and you're doing the row facing the ceiling
Mhm.
and you're rowing all your body weight. So
Oh,
you don't have the
interesting.
option of being like, okay, I'm going to start with 40 pounds and
Mhm.
build up to 70. You're
Right.
like, no, I'm 148
Yeah.
and I'm yanking 148 up
Yeah.
and down for like 8 reps. It is no joke.
Wow.
And people get super strong in that class and
Yeah,
their
I'm
body
sure.
changes so quick. It's super
Well,
fun.
it's funny that you say that because I have been weight training for since 2021 consistently 5 to 7 days a week. And my lower body definitely it took a while to kick in. It always does. It takes consistency and it takes time. But my upper body, I feel like was pretty good when I started climbing.
Mm.
My back just got ripped, like my shoulders. I mean, I already had a foundation from lifting for sure. But once I started climbing, something about doing it with your own body weight, it just really responds. And I don't know if it's because your body knows, like, hey, this is a real representation of something you would need to be doing in real life.
100%.
Yeah. Because, it's funny when I'm at home and I have to fix a blind or I have to fix, a handle or something and I have to get up to the ceiling, I will totally use my climbing skills to get up there, right?
Scurry up like Spidey.
No, kind of. And I'll be, stemming and doing different climbing moves to get up there. So I wonder if that has something to do with it because I feel like my body responds so well.
Well, like if you see an athlete that's just okay, here's what I think about it because now I row on the rower. So I feel like my body's totally changed since I started rowing, but that's because I feel
Mhm.
I'm not on the rowing machine thinking like, "Oh my god, my lats are getting so toned right now and so wide. My shoulders are taking it all in, my glutes are
Mhm.
responding, my quad." I'm just trying to get through a brutal workout. I'm
Mhm.
trying to get through rowing. And when
Mhm.
I'm on the water, it's the same thing. I'm the last thing I'm thinking about is, "Oh, I'm really getting my core right now at the end of the stroke." I'm just
Mhm.
trying to get through it just like you're trying to get through climbing.
Right.
And it's real world application.
Correct.
So if you like movies about Tarzan, he's just trying to get through life,
Right.
man. He's just trying to dodge tigers and climb trees.
Yeah.
The bro is jacked. He's
Yeah.
not counting
It's
macros.
still
I
a thing.
want to go this way because I'm on the wide angle lens.
Yeah.
This is way
Oh,
better.
okay.
I was
Okay.
like
Do you want me to move over?
spread out. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
This is how I really look, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that made me look 80 pounds heavier
Oh
over
my gosh. Do
there.
you want me to start all over?
No, 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 it's fine. This is the real me.
Maybe okay.
Don't worry about it. I'm not tripping.
Okay, what were we talking about again?
We were talking about exercise and how
Yes.
you're climbing and now your arms
Yes.
are awesome,
Okay,
but your
okay.
glutes were awesome
Yes,
before.
I know
Okay.
they
All
were pretty
right.
awesome. So that's the funny part is actually I do love doing glutes. I do love leg day. Leg day is just my favorite day.
You should see this girl's junk in her
Oh,
trash,
stop,
man. She's
stop, stop,
got it
stop.
going on.
But I feel like that's because I enjoy doing that workout and the endorphins and the serotonin and the dopamine are aiding my workout. Whereas when I was doing upper body, I was enjoying it some, but like not as much. But now when I climb, like because of the endorphins and the, serotonin and the dopamine, I think that that's what's aiding my gains.
But climbing also comes from your legs
It
majority
does.
too,
Yeah.
right? The arms are kind of finished. That's the same with rowing.
Yeah.
Rowing, it's a misnomer. People think it's upper body. It's
Yeah.
actually legs.
Well, it's both if you're doing it correctly.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you don't just claw your way to the top. You gotta
Right.
push.
You do.
I've climbed 4 times, so I'm an
Have you?
expert.
Are you interested in climbing with me
No,
sometime?
I'm not.
Why not?
I'm terrified of heights.
You're on a rope, you know.
I'm aware of the
Okay,
rope.
okay.
I'm also sometimes in a building with a
Okay.
floor and walls around me, and I'm just equally as terrified up there as it's worse. I've climbed, I've hit the top, I've rang the bell.
Mhm.
There was not a dopamine hit.
Oh,
It was
really?
more like, did I pee when
Yeah.
I was up here? I'm thinking it might be dripping down through the whatever, the
Yeah.
harness.
It
Yeah,
was like
it's
that for
not
me
great.
when I was taking my lead test. So I am certified lead climber, which means that I clip my way up to the top too.
Yeah.
I do the top rope and I love it. And when I took that test, man, I was nauseated. I was like, if there's a stream, just ignore it. Like, I was so nervous. And actually, I continued to climb that route after I passed the test because I needed to desensitize myself.
Did you finish the test still in panic mode, or did you go,
So,
that's over and I feel good
do
now?
you know how the test ends?
No, I don't know anything
You
about
have
it.
to take a fall.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Unsupported?
Well, you're on the lead rope. You basically fall 10 to 20 feet.
Look at my face right now.
Yeah.
I hate everything about this conversation.
Yeah, you have to show that you know how to fall because on a lead fall, it's different from a top rope fall. Top rope fall, you fall 4 inches if your belayer doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You hopefully don't fall at all. But with a lead, because you're depending on your clips, the clips are every 10 feet.
So what would cause you to fall? You don't
You
clip it in
slip.
all the way?
No. So that would be an unplanned fall. So that would be like a dangerous fall if you were to. There's something called back clip, which is you clip the rope in the wrong way. So it should be climber, rope, clip, wall. And
Okay.
if you accidentally go climber, rope, wall, clip, that's called a back clip. And in that case, if you fall, it could possibly the rope could actually leave the clip altogether because of the way you're
And so then
pulling.
you'll fall like 5,
You'll
10 feet?
You'll fall more. You'll fall like 40 feet. You could even hit the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
And you
so
don't
you're
want to
not
do that.
talking me into
No.
climbing
I'm
with you
sorry.
at
I know.
all.
Well, lead climbing. That's
I was
lead
already out, but I'm like
double out.
outside in the street.
Yeah,
out.
so
No.
that's lead climbing. Lead climbing is definitely a totally different beast. It's, you have to be, kind of willing to. For me, I lead climb quite a bit, but I also climb routes I know I can finish.
Yeah.
And or if I do, do a risky one, it's going to be on a wall that if I were to fall, I wouldn't like tumble against the wall. I don't want to do that. I want to have plenty of time to kind of take that C and then, be able to hit the wall with my feet, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hate everything. I
But
hate it.
yeah, no, actually, after I was done, it kind of almost felt worse. I felt very nauseated the first couple times. I've taken that test several times because I failed the first 5 times or first 4 times. And then after I passed it, my friends needed someone to take it with them.
So no part of you after failing the first time said, maybe this isn't for me?
No.
See, that's
No.
what makes you and I different. Yeah. See, I'd be like, nah, God's trying to tell me something. I'm out.
No, because people had actually told me that they had failed 4 or 5 times.
That makes you feel better.
Yeah, that made me feel better. And I was actually the first time I took it, I had no plan to pass it the first time. I go, do not expect to pass the first time. Just get it out of the way. Get that first time out of the way. And expect that you're going to have to take it several times before you pass.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you know that going in.
Yeah. I wanted to pass the first time, but then I learned,
Just defy the odds and be like, I'm a little.
Well, the reason why I started lead climbing is because my ex cheated on me with his lead partner.
Oh, your ex.
My recent ex.
Oh, that
That
guy.
guy. Yes, yes. We all
Oh,
saw it coming.
it all makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
sat with you in that
so
backyard and heard
he
those
was
stories.
behind my back, and he was climbing with her in secret and doing God knows what else. And I was like, okay, I am going to climb like crazy because actually it turned out I thought I didn't like climbing with him, but it turned out I just didn't like climbing with him.
Right.
When I found my own community, it was amazing, and I started outdoor climbing and I started lead climbing. And then I was determined to get my lead certification. It was kind of like my gift to myself, basically, for having gone through that. And I went on a mission. I found a community, lovely community of climbers, and got my
Shout out
lead.
community climbers.
Yeah,
Where is it?
it's at the studio. So I actually have done a recording over there, but it's the studio in San Jose, downtown San Jose. It's an amazing place. They've got it's a different gym from Movement, which is like the main gym, and that's the gym I came from. But yeah, it's an amazing community.
I love it.
And they've got like group climbs. They've got people of color climbing together. They've got like Escalamos, which is another group of climbers. It's amazing. Yeah,
You have your little group. I'm
I
in
do.
my little rowing cult
Yeah,
too.
tell
So
me.
I don't know. Rowers are a different breed.
Yeah,
I think climbers are a different breed
yeah,
too. It's very meditative. It's hard. The classes are different than being on the water.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's just its own little weird
But you
thing.
like play music and there's fun lights. It's like
Yeah,
a club in
it's
that
a
class.
club. It's a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on. That's fun.
I've taken her class a couple times and I enjoyed myself a lot. Like I
Yeah.
definitely, especially once I got the technique down, because I was definitely it took like 2 classes just for me to understand the technique, I feel.
Yeah, the technique is not intrinsic at all.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you think you just get on the rower and you're just kind of pulling the arms, but there's a certain sequence. It's like you push with the legs first.
Then you open up your body, and
The,
then the last thing that happens is the pull of the arms. And then you release the arms over straight legs.
yes.
And then you come back to it's called the catch,
Yeah.
all the way at the front.
And the catch is when you bend your legs back to the
Yeah, you're
front.
back at the toward the bow of the boat, and then you drive back with your legs.
And that's the technique for actual rowing in the water as well.
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it,
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. Okay, I love that. Yeah, no, because and this is why I think it's important to have a trainer
Yeah.
because it's like we could injure ourselves. I
Yeah.
could injure
Nobody
myself.
knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
I didn't know
especially
what I was doing until I knew what I was doing.
yeah. So how did you get into rowing?
Okay. So during COVID, everything shut down. My entire identity, my entire adult life has been tied into being a fitness instructor. Like,
Mhm,
that's not where I make my money. I'm actually a personal trainer. That's where I make my money.
mhm.
But that's okay.
Shout out to personal trainers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like personal training. I love it. I would say it's passion B. Passion A is fitness coaching with groups because I also come from a theater background,
Mm,
musical theater. So I'm a bit of a performer.
okay.
And
Oh,
when I'm
nice.
personal training, it's more interpersonal. It's like this,
Yeah.
but then like, okay, we're gonna do 10 of these, and then I hear everybody's life problems. And
Mhm.
you've had a trainer, so
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of chit chat
Oh,
that
no,
goes on.
totally.
Um, with fitness coaching, it's a different relationship. Like, I get an opportunity to be a version of me that doesn't exist anywhere else on planet Earth.
Interesting.
There's a little bit of I make a connection with my crew, but there's a little bit of a separation, a little bit of a wall between me and them
Mhm.
when I'm in coach kind of performance mode.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of control that I get out of that. Like, it's
Interesting.
like one of the only places in my life that I have any control
Mhm.
because I'm telling you what to do
Mhm.
and you're doing
Like
it.
authority.
Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, control is maybe not the best
Yeah.
word. Authority and respect. And in that area of my life, there's status.
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of status. I'm not a rich person. I'm
Mhm.
not so there's a little bit of status in that position in my life and it
Mhm.
feels good.
Mhm.
And then you get like I'm an approval junkie.
Mhm.
You get approval after you teach a class.
And by the way, sorry, in the Bay Area, nobody's rich.
No, 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 no.
Millionaires are not rich
No, and
in
we're
the Bay
technically
Area. Yeah,
multi-millionaires, but that's
yeah.
just because our house is worth a shit ton of
Right,
money, but
right.
we couldn't afford to buy it now. We
Yeah,
bought it 22 years ago. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Just a side note.
there's like a fun fact. I'm a multi-millionaire that drives a Chevy Bolt.
Yeah.
So this
That's life,
is
man.
my
That is
truth.
Bay Area life.
Um, yeah, so teaching is an outlet for me. I get excited about it. I actually I get not anxiety, but like really truly excited. And when I'm teaching, I feel almost like I'm high. And when
Mhm.
it's over, I feel high. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, what a ride that was.
That's
So,
how I feel after I lead climb a really hard climb.
yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
a great
Yes.
feeling?
Yes.
Because you are a little bit you're a leader in that moment.
Yeah.
You're like, you're doing this. This is what we're doing. This is the program. Follow.
Yeah. And my belayer has to kind of like, if I want my belayer to take and give me some relief, then they have to. And especially if I'm doing those really hard climbs, like I have a couple of belayers that I'm friends with, and they have to be so alert.
Hmm.
Like, and they're listening for me. And especially if it's a weird climb where they lose line of sight of me, because climbs are usually up and down, but there are certain climbs where the wall actually comes out, and
Oh,
so they lose sight of me. And like my belayer one time, she was so cute. She's like, Remy,
yeah.
I can't see you anymore. Like, you're gonna need to give me the instruction. And so that's why in climbing you have like instruction that you have to give.
So it sounds like I think we're experiencing a very similar thing. It's impossible for me not to be 100% in the moment when I'm
Yes.
leading a fitness class.
Yeah.
I can't be distracted. I can get distracted when I'm training somebody.
Oh,
I can tell
interesting.
them what to do. I try to be locked in, and I am for the most part, but
Yeah.
I tell them what to do. And then once they're in the path of doing it, once
Right.
I've taught them and they know how to do a squat, they know they're in their heels, they
Yeah.
know their shoulders are back, their chest is proud, all that
You have the permission to check out.
happens a lot. All of my clients are like, "You are the worst counter on planet
Oh, I
Earth."
mean, honestly, I'm bad at counting my own reps
Yeah.
a lot of times.
It's not all the time, it's just
But I mean,
I often lose
as
it.
a client, it's funny because I've done a little bit of personal training just kind of with my friends and stuff. And because I feel like the whole point of personal training is to be taught how to have your form when you do the exercise. A personal trainer's objective is not to babysit while doing the exercise.
No. I
And
mean, initially, yes, because I can't tell you how many times I've taught somebody how to do a move. They're doing it perfectly when I'm doing it with them.
right.
I step away for 2 seconds and the
Yeah.
whole thing falls to
Falls
pieces.
apart.
So I gotta
Yeah.
get right back in there with them, and this happens
But again, that's a
constantly.
different babysitting. You're not sitting there and, like in on TV, it's the perception is the trainer's kind of sitting there just like, "Yeah, go, you got this." And they're
Oh,
just
yeah,
kind
they're,
of
like, down at their
right,
level on the
right.
floor. We
Yeah,
don't do that. Sometimes I'll
right.
sit on the equipment and be like, "That
Yeah.
looks awesome.
Yeah.
Keep going."
Yeah, but that's not the objective of a personal trainer. The personal trainer is to babysit the form.
Mhm.
And then once you have the form down, it's like you move on to the next exercise. Like,
Also to come up with a program that makes sense for
right.
people,
Yeah.
right? So
And according to their goals.
right.
So, yeah, so my fitness trainer, she was mostly virtual. She did do some in person with me, and it was a lot of form, but she actually did a pretty good job sending me videos to teach me form. So I, learned the form pretty good. I watch a lot of videos and I
Mm,
know what the workouts should feel like.
mhm.
And so I've definitely, like in the beginning, I was getting backaches, and backaches is common, especially for legs, because like if you don't know what you're doing and you're not
Yeah,
pulling with your glutes, you're pulling with your back muscle.
that's the default for most people, which is why so many people have chronic back pain.
Right.
People don't understand, strengthen your glutes,
Yeah.
strengthen your core, your back pain goes away.
Right.
Unless you've got, like, crumbling discs or something like
Yeah.
that, but most chronic low back pain especially
Even
is
then, I've
shred
got a
your glutes.
bulging disc in my C6 from an accident.
Yeah, but if you train those glutes, it
Yeah.
can take the place
Right.
of
Right.
a bulging disc,
Yes.
and some people have lost discs, and
Yeah.
they've had to create such power and glute strength that it literally supports your back
Yeah.
where a disc should be.
Yes.
It's
No, I agree.
I don't know, have you read the studies or heard the studies about how leg strength has directly been proven to be correlated with not just
Longevity.
longevity,
Yes.
but, like, quality of life?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that. So, especially for women. So, women lose something like 4% of muscle mass every year after age 40,
Yeah.
which is alarming.
It is alarming.
And so, what happens is it gets replaced with fat.
Mhm.
And so hence the cellulite, right?
Yeah.
And so by strengthening your legs, especially for women, it increases longevity. Yes, and it increases quality of life. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Plus, the protein actually releases into your bloodstream. So as you're working out and breaking down the muscle, the protein releases into the bloodstream and it acts as, guess what? A painkiller,
Yeah.
right? Endorphins, right? So all those things. But yeah, no, I mean, my dad had been telling me to muscle, train and weight train for years. And I was kind of like, what are you talking about? I'm a girl. I don't do that. Like I do cardio and cardio.
Yeah, and everybody gets this misconception that if you lift weights, you're gonna get bulky as a
Yeah.
woman. You just get leaner
Yeah,
and look better.
yeah, I like it, to be honest. I was, like, low-key wanting to look like She-Hulk at one point.
Well, no, you kinda do.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I appreciate
You
that.
you're small.
Yeah.
Like, if Remy was, like, naked in front of you and flexing, you might think, like, "Oh, in person, she's kind of a big girl,"
Mhm.
but in person, she's petite,
Mhm.
tiny,
Yeah.
and low body fat, lots of lean muscle mass, though.
Yeah.
You're not a skinny, you're
Yeah.
very fit, like superhero
Yeah. Thank you.
body type.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
exactly
that.
what you'd want.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy, honestly, with my body today. It changed a lot after I had kids. So, when I have this joke, when I was pregnant with Dahlia, like my booty came first before the belly.
Oh,
And so I was like, is the baby back there? Like, why is this happening this way? And I should have really appreciated it way more because as soon as she was born, she took it all with her and then some.
mm,
And my body totally changed. And I became way more of a reverse triangle than anything else.
mm.
Whereas before, my body was very, I definitely had like good, lower body muscle mass. Lost a lot of it after I had Dahlia. So I had to build it back up with the weight training and the protein increase in my macros.
Well, I'm 55, and I have noticed in the last couple of years, I mean, I know that we were decreasing since 40, that's all been going on, but even though I'm strength training, even though I eat clean, I have lost muscle mass, so I hired a nutritionist, and my goal is I don't even care if I put on weight, I need muscle mass back.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm 148 pounds, but
Hmm.
I've got something like only 105 or
Mm.
6 pounds of lean
Oh,
muscle mass.
wow.
I mean, it might be a little bit more than that
Hmm.
now, but that's where I started at.
Hmm.
And you can't really see it on my upper body, but it's
Hmm.
my lower
Hmm.
body that's
That's
just
where women
like,
lose it.
yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
And even as a trainer, I mean, I work out religiously every day, but in the last year and a half, I've started picking up heavy weights,
Hmm.
being like, this is going to suck. This is going to hurt. You're
Hmm.
doing it anyway. Let's
Hmm.
go. And I have in the last year, it takes a long time, especially when you're my age, but I've put on 5 pounds of lean
Yay.
muscle mass.
Oh,
My
that's
goal is to do
amazing.
another 5 this year.
Yeah.
But my body isn't getting bigger.
Right.
That's
Right.
the misconception.
No, because you're basically it's replacing the fat
Right,
essentially.
100%.
Yeah. So what does your diet look like now? Are you a high protein diet?
I'm a very high protein
What
diet.
does that look like?
Well, I start my day with like a Fairlife muscle milk
Oh, I love
drink, but I put it in my
those.
coffee, so I
Yeah.
have like a
Nice.
cafe mocha first thing in the
Is it the
morning.
chocolate one?
Chocolate one,
Oh, yeah, that's my
100%.
favorite.
Um, right now I'm only doing the 26,
Mhm.
but I am gonna start doing the 48, like,
Okay.
because I was like, I don't know if it's gonna give me a stomach ache first thing in the morning, but my
Yeah. He's talking
goal
about grams of protein, by
grams
the
of
way.
protein,
Yeah.
sorry, very
The one
inside.
I do is a 30 grams of protein. It's a shake.
Yeah, so I'm buying the pre-mades,
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
and, it's just ease and taste and all
Mhm.
that stuff. I don't really like chalky protein powder stuff.
Yeah. Well, so Fairlife, fun fact, I found out, they don't add protein powder to the milk. That's why it doesn't taste chalky. What
Yeah,
they do is they fortify the milk so that the milk has the protein in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
So
friend that
that's why it
actually
tastes different.
works for Fairlife,
Oh,
so
nice.
that's how I got the inside skinny on
Oh,
it. Even
nice.
the milk itself, like, if you were to
Yes.
drink, like, a non-fat or a low-fat Fairlife milk, you're getting way more protein in that
Then
milk
with the
than you
average
do with
milk. Yeah.
regular milk. So
That's so
that's
cool.
all we drink at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I start my day off with that. I'm trying to hit 100 to 150 grams of protein every day, which
Mhm.
is not easy for me because I'm not like a huge meat eater. I was
Yeah.
vegetarian, even vegan
Oh,
for a long
really?
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But I really think my vegetarianism as my veganism directly correlated to my
Oh,
muscle mass
interesting.
loss.
And increasing it in order to, kind of replace the muscle mass that you've lost
Yeah.
in the past 14 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was happening unbeknownst to me. I didn't
Wow.
know this fact until
Yeah.
like 10 years ago.
Well, what made you figure it out?
Somebody told me. No.
Mhm.
I didn't know until I got a body composition test, and I
Okay.
was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
I've been doing everything the same.
Yeah.
And
No, but you can't do it the same
no, you
after a
gotta
certain
do it
age.
more,
Yeah.
but we didn't really know that
Mhm.
as much 15 years ago.
Right, okay.
We weren't really talking about that. It's just really, and even as a trainer,
Mhm.
it was the emphasis was having strong cardio. Your
Mhm.
cardiovascular system was really, really important.
Mhm.
Muscles were important, but that was sort of a fringe way of working out. Like women who lifted weights were kind of mocked and shunned and shamed, like those bodybuilders, ooh, gross. And it's really only been in the last like 8 years that it's been a more revered way of training for women.
Yeah.
Because women have always been taught you're going to get bulky, you're going to get large,
Right.
and it's not necessarily new information, but
Right.
it's newer into the zeitgeist where people are aware of it now.
Yeah, I think that it's been a total game changer for me, not just for my actual physique, but for my mood as well. So the way that I train, I do tend to I can slow down or speed up depending on what I'm wanting, but sometimes I will be training at such a speed that it's almost like speed training or doing cardio while I'm weight training.
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
Not a
and
lot of rest in between reps.
like a little bit, but then I realized, oh, I'm actually leaving gains on the table. My daughters, oh my gosh, they are they have great personalities. This is just a cut in basically, but they have great personalities and they're a lot of personality. And I want them to, kind of be free to be them. But sometimes I feel like I backfired because I know when I was a kid, if my mom was doing something like this, there was no way I was interrupting.
Right. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I was a more harsh parent, but I do have a kid that's autistic.
Yeah.
So when he came along, I had to let all things kind of go a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that having a kid on the spectrum is a little bit of a gift in the sense that you do get a lot of help, a lot of support
Yeah.
if you're, seeking that. My daughter came by and she started touching the stuff and
She's doing that like, I'm not touching you,
yeah,
I'm
but
not
she's like,
doing
yeah,
it.
she's
Yeah.
like, but she's like pushing the plugs into the thing. I mean, they have a lot of bravery and they're very involved in my life in a
Yeah.
way that I was not involved in my mom's life. Like if she was cooking, I left her alone. If she was, whatever, I left her alone. And if I came in her way, God help me. I mean, it was not good. And so I know that, and it's funny to me watching people positive parent like a Great America and stuff, and their kid is just full blown meltdown. The cognitive dissonance I have of like how I was raised versus how I raised my children. And I still get the parent guilt of like, oh my gosh, I'm like this mean mom.
You're so not a mean mom. You're very permissive in a totally healthy way. And also, you let them be free range kids. They're out here playing. You're not helicoptering.
I do not helicopter. I mean, it depends on the situation. So, for example, when we went to the water park today, I was like, look, guys, you're kind of not allowed to make friends here.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing for you, the neighborhood, I know where you live. She pointed out, the neighbor came and pointed out her apartment to me. Okay. You have
Yeah.
a daughter, you're a woman, you're a mom. I've met you, seen your face, I got to feel your energy, all good. But at some place like the water park, my daughter comes to me, my youngest, and she goes, oh, I made a friend and like her brothers are going to come and we're all going to go to the lazy river. And I'm like, no, you're not.
No, no, no. No brothers.
No, you're not. I have not met this friend. This friend, you came to me. She did not come to me. That's alarm number one, right?
Yeah.
Alarm number two is now you're telling me that these brothers are joining. Again, have not even met the person, don't know where the parents are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's just direct red flag. She's like, okay, let me go and tell her. I'm like, no, you don't need to do that.
You can just stay here.
You stay here, right here with me. So there are times where I step it up.
But that's not helicoptering. That's just being sane.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there in the world that are snatching up kiddos and taking them
Yeah.
places and making them do stuff.
Yeah,
So,
no, and it's so funny having to explain that to my 6-year-old and 8-year-old because obviously don't say that. But what I do say is you don't want something happening to you that's going to put you in a bad mood for the rest of your life. See, I've not been officially diagnosed, but we talk about this all the time. Is that I kind of think that I might have a little neurodivergency myself. Like
can I diagnose you?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a year and a half of community college. You have ADHD, my friend.
So, like, I do suspect that, like, according to TikTok and Instagram reels, like, it does kind of look like I have ADHD. And I
The
just
fact that you're getting your information from TikTok and Instagram reels is really the number one.
Yeah.
Click that box.
Okay. Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, it's scrolling right there. But yeah, but it's funny because actually I've really learned, gotten to know myself, and I've gotten to hack myself a little bit. So, like, one hack about is that I keep greeting cards in my car.
Yeah, I
And in
love
my house.
this. This
Yeah.
came in handy for me a couple months back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I am not the type of person who can plan ahead of time well in advance. And I can't think to like buy a gift and then buy a card ahead of time. And it upsets me and I get frustrated. And it's like added time that I have to like schedule out that just doesn't happen. So as a result, I actually keep, and I do this for gifts too. So I keep like gifts around the house. I don't keep them in my car anymore, but I keep them around the house. And then I keep cards, greeting cards in my house and in my car so that in case someone's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or whatever, I can whip something out and just write on it right away and give it to
I
them.
really do need to do that because
Yeah.
I'm the same. The notion of having going to 2
Yeah.
stores for one person is
Yeah.
just like, shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
I already went to Nordstrom Rack. I
Right.
got you a kick-ass workout outfit.
Yeah.
I put it in a little bag
Yes.
with paper in it.
Yeah. I did a lot.
That was store number 2.
Yeah. When I don't have to get a greeting card, I love going to the store, looking at all the greeting cards, reading the fun ones, and then picking them out and just collecting them. And mostly people celebrate birthdays. And so those are the ones that I kind of end up collecting. So I just have a bunch. I have a collection of cards in my car.
But one of the things that I do, like my ADHD is so bad that sometimes I get totally paralyzed. Like, okay, I've got my 4 clients back to back.
Right.
Now I need to eat lunch and take a shower and I have to wash my hair. Washing my hair is a whole situation.
Oh, yeah, same.
So it's scheduled on my calendar.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Tuesdays are hair wash days, Fridays, Saturdays if I go see Robin, which is every other week, she washes my hair on Saturdays.
Robin is the hairstylist.
To the stars. Yeah. So yeah, I have to put it on the calendar and I have to allot enough time to let it partially air dry and then I'll blow it dry and then I'll bend the ends with a curling iron. It's a whole situation.
Oh, yeah.
Today I didn't give myself enough time, so this is what we're
Beautiful. By
Thank
the way.
you.
We're
It's
like our own biggest critics.
It's naturally curly,
Yeah, it is
kids,
pretty.
but I rarely leave it like this.
Yeah.
You've never seen it like this before, have you?
I don't think
Maybe.
so. I
Yeah,
don't think so.
it's rare. It's
Yeah.
usually if it's balls hot
Yeah.
and the idea of a blow dryer is like
No way.
out of the question.
Yeah. So I actually use overnight curls for my hair.
That works.
Yeah. So I started doing overnight curls, I think around March or something, March, April. And yeah, I do that. So I put like conditioner, leave-in conditioner in my hair. I do the overnight. I do one Velcro curl in the front, and then I do
Gotta
the
get those
overnight.
curtain bangs.
Got to get those curtain bangs, and then I do the overnight curls every night. And so not every night, but most nights, like most nights.
Do you use like a really fat barrel or like tight barrel?
I use tight barrel.
See, your hair's so heavy and
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
that it pulls down to something attractive.
Right.
I have tried overnight curls, so
Yeah.
I've got what we affectionately refer to as Jufro. So I have a lot of hair,
Yeah.
but it's not thick.
So they actually have wider barrel overnight curls for that.
But then my hair doesn't dry. So I've got
Oh, you
frizzy
want it to
hair.
wet.
You don't you
Yeah.
don't have frizzy hair.
Yeah.
Oh, you dry your hair, then you put
Yes.
the overnight
Yes.
curl in?
And I actually put in leave-in conditioner, like a big chunk of it, so that my hair is wet with leave-in conditioner, not ever with water.
No, our program is not gonna be the same.
And then actually what I do is I take what's it called? I take serum and I like almost wrap it around my hand. So it's everywhere. It's like on the outside of my fingers, inside of my fingers. And then in the morning I brush it through. And that's actually the first day I did that, Cyndi said I had Ariel hair.
Yeah, it was super
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I
So
didn't know that's
yeah.
what you had done.
That's what I'd
If
done
we had the
differently.
same hair, look, let me just put in perspective for you. I go see Robin, you've seen Robin,
Yeah.
and I remember once I saw her and she's like, "You can style your hair into making it look pretty."
Yeah.
And I literally said, "I wish I had hair like Remy." She goes, "You can never have hair like Remy."
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything to Remy's hair to make it look good. I just trimmed it up. She just has really good hair.
Yeah.
It's thick, it's straight, or not, at least not frizzy.
Yeah.
And it's shiny.
Yeah.
That's the kind of hair that like I would abduct you, shave your head,
Yeah.
and make like
I
extensions
mean,
out of
my
my hair.
hair is what extensions are made of.
I know.
So like
It's called Remy.
yeah. Well, no, but South Asian hair,
Yeah.
village hair.
No, it is. It's called Remy.
Yeah.
It's called Remy.
Is
Remy
it?
hair extensions. Yes, it is.
Remy
Not.
hair- is it
not-
R-I-M-I?
It's REMY.
Oh, okay, Remy, like
Remy.
Remy Martin. That's funny. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's my hair extensions. But yeah, no, my hair is what hair extensions are made of. So it's funny to me when people ask me if my hair is extensions, because number one, that's what hair extensions are made of. Is this hair,
Right.
South Asian hair? Even the dyed one, they'll bleach it, they'll dye it, they'll turn it blonde, but it's still South Asian hair, most of it.
Yeah, even for the black girls, they make it. They'll
yeah,
they'll
no,
process
100%.
it, make it curly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. The weaves are 100% South Asian hair. And some of them come from places you do not want to know. I'm not going to go into it. But like and also secondly, I'm too lazy to have extensions. Extensions are a lot of work.
I used to have them.
Did you have to do a ton of work to maintain them?
It
Like
was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I had them for 11 years.
Yeah.
if I would ever take them out and have to just have my natural hair, I felt like a hideous beast.
Yeah.
Right when COVID hit,
Mhm.
I had to get my extensions rewoven in every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And right when COVID hit, I was due.
Mhm.
So like the tracks
Mhm.
were hanging down, my hair was getting tangled, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my God, what is this? What's gonna happen? I'm gonna have a rat's nest."
Mhm.
So I went to Jennifer's guy that she was seeing on the down low, and he just cut out the
I didn't know this.
extensions. Well,
It's tea.
yeah,
Mhm.
he cut the extensions out, but he
Mhm.
didn't know how to put them back in.
Mhm.
So I just had to have my natural hair, and
Mhm.
the freedom I felt the first time I washed my
Uh-huh.
hair without
Yeah.
extensions was just like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing." And I got so used to being so hot all the time.
Yeah.
So I had all this extra heavy hair on my head, and I got so used to having a headache all the time
Mhm.
because they braid them in, and the
Mhm.
braids are so tight. I mean, they
Yeah.
like yank on your head when they
Mm.
put them in. It's rough.
Mhm.
So I actually feel less conspicuous because I
Mhm.
always felt like people are gonna know my hair's
Right.
fake, and it kind
I
of
had no
like,
idea. I met her and I had no
and it
idea.
was
Yeah.
super long, but it
Mhm.
was totally fake. People are gonna know it's fake, and then at a certain age, it's like maybe this length is kind of silly on
Mhm.
me. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel freer without it. I feel like
Well, your
more
hair
of
is
me.
beautiful. Your hair
Thank
is
you.
beautiful natural this way too. It's gorgeous. Like this. I love this like the updo that you've got going on.
You should see it down right now. It's hysterical.
I mean, mine too though. Like
No,
I mean,
no, you
when you
got a
have
little mermaid braid. Come on.
no down, if I were to like pull it out and it was down, it would be the same. I mean, it's like, we women like that's kind of that part of hacking. You don't just hack the emotional mental part, you hack the physical part too a little bit.
Yeah.
And some men have gotten to know how to do this, but not a lot, I feel. But like women, even women who are maybe heavier set, right? They wear beautiful clothes that, gives them a lovely waistline and all these things.
Yeah.
And they can look absolutely magnificent. Like women definitely, I think, do a good job in general of like studying themselves and, being able to hack themselves so that they look nice.
And figure out what works. Whereas a
Yeah.
guy with a
When?
beer gut's just gonna double down and tuck that shirt in and put a belt on and
Well,
pull
what's
it
funny
down low.
so South Asian men, now oh my gosh, okay, I wanna talk about this for a second. So I see these South Asian men and boys now, and they're jacked, they're
Oh, yeah,
ripped,
there's a lot of dudes in
they're
my
at the
class.
gym. Yeah, they're at the gym. They figured out the, hairstyle. It kinda looks like a mop, but it looks good. It looks better than the Indian boys back in my day, let me tell you. The South Asian boys back in my day,
They had like
they're
the bowl cut. That's what I had in
I
my
don't
high school.
remember, but it was not cute, and, like, it was not cute, and now these boys, I mean, it's like, I actually have a hard time differentiating and realizing that a man is South Asian. Because first of all, the name, you can't tell the name sometimes, especially the first name, they changed it
Yeah.
up or whatever, and then secondly, like, just by the way they look, they're so stylish that I get totally thrown off, and I'm like, "Oh my god," and so I go to Mountain Mike's yesterday to do comedy, and these 2 men, they're straight from India, by the way, gorgeous, like tall, gorgeous. And I was like, "Oh my gosh," like people like men even have kind of discovered, how to optimize their physical appearance,
Yeah.
which it wasn't needed back then.
Yeah. Now women are a little more particular. Like, can you not be a slob? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, and I think we have the right to be because we do spend a lot of time making sure that we're not complete slobs.
Yeah, we wax, we pull, we thread, in my case, I put self tanner on like twice a week so that I'm not just, I got a Lindsay Lohan going on with my skin. I'm
I put like oil in my
pale.
hair to,
Yeah,
make it a certain way. It's like we kind of do things for self-care and it feels good and it looks good. And so, having men kind of step up and do the same is nice.
that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Make it count.
Yeah. Make
Hey,
it
the
count.
children are back.
All
I
right, the
think that's
children
our
are back. Yeah, I
cue.
think that's
The
our
kids
cue.
have actually
Yeah.
been super
Very
patient. It's
patient.
like,
Very good.
I think
Yeah.
we went close to 2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, we did two
Oh my
hours,
gosh.
Ramy.
Okay. Thank you everybody for joining us on another episode of Modern Mom. This is going to be a long episode.
Oh my
See
God.
you next time.
Fascinating.